Hello Libra, welcome to this reading. We're going to be taking a look at the current energy for the sign of Libra for the month of September. Now do keep in mind that this is a general reading, so take the messages as they resonate, drop the ones that do not, and also check out your sun, moon, and rising signs. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we have here for you, Libra. Now I'm using the Golden Art Nouveau Tarot, the Rider-Waite Tarot, as well as the Kipper Oracle deck. There are links to all of these decks in the description below if you'd like to pick them up for yourself. All right, let's go ahead and get all the cards out here, and then we'll get right into it. Hope you're doing well. Hope things are going good for you. All right. And I think that's looking just about good enough to me. We'll take 3 of these Kipper cards to clarify as we go along. All right. Energy on the bottom. You have the 4 of Cups. So 4 of Cups is a card that can indicate reflection. It can indicate boredom and apathy. Some of you there may be something about time management here showing up, okay? Some of you may want to really make sure that you are maximizing your time. I think that you're going to become aware of this if this is resonating with you at all. I say this because we have the influence of the devil here. We'll talk about that more as we go along. You really, that could really be a challenge for some of you. Some of you are also in a period of contemplation. Now, we're in this month, we pretty much have a Mercury retrograde through the entire month of September. So it's nothing to be afraid of. Mercury retrograde is good for doing R words. So that is rest, recover, reevaluate, rejuvenate, reintegrate. There are other ones that I'm not thinking of right now. Reflect. These are the things that you can really be doing at this time to help you best kind of move forward and best support yourself. And I think some of you are going to be doing this. I also do think there is a time management element here that some of you would be wise to not ignore. I'm a Libra myself, and I think I will take this message as well. I don't always do that in my readings, but I definitely see that could be coming in for Libras. And overall, though, you have a pretty good reading here, I have to say. The readings this month have been pretty good. Overall, they've been actually really good. And certainly yours is, nothing to be concerned about. In fact, there are some really, really bright signs here, bright spots here in your reading. So let's go ahead and let's talk about those. So in the overall situation, we do have kind of your biggest challenge here, which is the 9 of Swords. Now this middle card is very important because it spills into the rest of the cards. And this 9 of Swords says that this is the mental health card from my perspective. Okay, this person has their head in their hands. They are having a nightmare. They're staying up late at night. They're in the middle of like a deep bout of anxiety and also fear. This is a major card of fears that do not necessarily exist. And so you can see that illustrated because they believe that these 9 swords are going to come in and hit them, but they never actually do that. And so for some of you here, is there a way that you can, whenever I get the 9 of Swords, I always ask you, is there a way that you can separate fact from fiction here in your life? Because the reality is I almost said Americans, I meant to say people. The reality is that people are incredible storytellers. And doesn't matter, what your background is. People, no matter where you've come from, no matter, what experiences you've had, people are extremely good storytellers. And oftentimes we create these stories in our mind that do not act, they're stories, they're not real. And so what story are you telling yourself this month? What story are you telling yourself, and what story doesn't support you and what story does support you in your path as you move forward this month? Create a story. If you are somebody who likes to create stories, create a story that supports you, not a story that brings you down. In the beginning of the month, you have the Devil card, you have the Knight of Wands, and you also have the Fool. So the Devil card here, this is a card of our shadows. This card oftentimes comes forward when we're working through something internally challenging, or even if we have negative thoughts. That would certainly support the Nine of Swords here in this diagonal. Now I will say you have a really nice diagonal. So if you're unfamiliar, diagonals in the spread are directions that you are headed. So you have the Devil, the Nine of Swords, and the Star. The Star at the end of the diagonal for me is very good because the Star represents healing, hope, optimism for the future. So you here have this negative thinking that's showing up, or there's something around procrastination. If it's with the Nine of Swords, it's about negative thinking. If it's combined with the Four of Cups here, this is about procrastination, okay? And that's why I said something around time management could be very important for Libras in this month. That could certainly be showing up for you in the cards. And, I think that this is going to be on your mind here at the beginning of the month. This will be a theme for you to maybe work through, to transmute. If there's something that you're even feeling restricted by, working through that as well could be extremely beneficial and helpful for you during this time. You have a really nice energy here with the Knight of Wands and the Fool. These are both of these cards are really exciting. Okay, the Knight of Wands is about, like, I always like to say the Knight of Wands is like van life. If there was a card that indicated van life, it would be the Knight of Wands. If you're unfamiliar, it's like living down by the river in a van. I'm sure you've seen on YouTube like people who live in their vans or live in their cars. It's like a very popular thing. But the idea is this person is like sort of in an unbridled way kind of embracing an adventure. That's what the Knight of Wands is all about doing. They are kind of going to distant places, going to foreign lands, going to new places, and experiencing new things for them. And this is all about the Knight of Wands. It can come forward if you're looking to move. Like many people, when they're ready to change their location, change their zip code, they'll get the Knight of Wands. But it can also just indicate travel. You have the Fool with that as well, which is about embracing the unknown and also embracing your child self as well. There's something about like mountains. Obviously, these in the background, they're pyramids, which I think connect to mystery. If I'm not mistaken, you'd have to look up pyramid symbolism or spiritual meaning of a pyramid. But you have the mountains here in the background. I don't know, there's something that's maybe some of you are connecting with on that level. But the Fool is about embracing your child self and just kind of going for something and not being concerned about what could be or what could happen or what has been, but instead kind of this idea of embracing the unknown. And some of you here are going on a grand adventure. Don't let the negative thinking here affect the experience that you may have, because some of you could have an extremely fun experience, but make sure you don't, chain yourself down to something with negative thinking or a negative mindset. Now, in the middle of the month, you have the Four of Pentacles, you have the Nine of Swords, and you also have the Six of Wands showing up here. So something about your stability is extremely important to you. It's heavy on your mind here. Your stability, your footing, your grounding in the earth, in the world here is very important to you. 4 is a number of stability, but it's even kind of doubly important when you get the Four of Pentacles, because this person is so focused on their security, their money, that like every part of them is thinking about and touching their money here. As you see, their hands are on their pentacle, are on a pentacle, their feet are on a pentacle, there's a pentacle on their head. They are completely absorbed and consumed about their material situation. And so sometimes when you get the Four of Swords, it asks you to detach a little bit. Recognize that life is a lot more than just what you earn or how much you have. There's a whole experience to have in life as well, outside of just money, especially when you get something like the Knight of Wands and the Fool card. You have this here with the Nine of Swords, which to me, like I said, mental health, this is about you maybe even just fearful around your security and fearful around your situation. Maybe you're in an unstable situation, or you feel like you are in an unstable situation because, again, storytelling, right? With the Nine of Swords, that comes in very heavily with that card. You have this Six of Wands here, which is really the opposite of what I was just talking about, which the Six of Wands is like a major victory in one's life. This is embracing a huge outpouring of winning in one's life. In fact, these people here you can see in the background are cheering this person on after having won over the battle or the victory of the Five of Wands. And when you get the Six of Wands, it's about exceeding expectations. It is a big win in the Suit of Wands. There are at least 2 wins in the Suit of Wands. This is the big win, okay? And so for you, I feel like it's almost like maybe, yeah, I think separating fact from fiction here is very important, and also being mindful and aware of the stories that you might be telling yourself. Towards the end of the month, you have the Judgment card, you have the Ace of Cups, and you have the Star. Well, I definitely love to see this because for some of you, you're passing the test, if you will. It seems like calmer shorelines showing up here, calmer waters, I should say, coming up here in the future. Some of you are, there's like water symbolism in each one of these, I think, in each one of these cards. I believe these, maybe not in this one. Let's see here. Are these people in boats? No, they're in, okay, there's no water here, but that's all right. It doesn't matter. There's something about you embracing a calmer side of yourself here. The Judgment card does ask you to be, kind of go into a period of self-evaluation and ask yourself what it is that you need to do to change in order to complete something. I always like to say the Judgment card is like the final boss. It's the last exam of the year. You know, it's the hardest one, but it's the one that brings the biggest rewards. And this is something that's challenging to you, but it is also something that can really, really, level you up and complete something for you in your life, because the card that comes after the Judgment is the World, which is a major completion. Now, what I really like here for you is you have this paired with the Ace of Cups and the Star, both incredibly positive, incredibly good energies. The Ace of Cups, you can see, is some type of new beginning and happiness, maybe even an offer of happiness here, or the gift of happiness. It's also a very good love card. We haven't really been touching on love in this reading because it just hasn't come in. But the Ace of Cups can say that there's new love arriving in your life, or the offer of new love here. Outpouring or overflowing cups in tarot are always a good sign. And, rest assured, the Ace of Cups, I kind of think of like a happiness pill. It's just like a really nice, happy energy. And along with that, you have the Star card, personally my favorite, if not my second favorite card in the tarot. The Star card can bring about a wish into your life. If it's the idea is that the person on the Star card is a genie, and genies grant wishes. And so it can it is wish symbolism. The star represents a wish potentially being granted into your life, but also this pool of water is a healing pool of water. And so it can also just bring good health, good situations into your life. It can also just be about optimism, connecting with the universe, synchronicities, as you see the stars here. It's a very positive card. Tranquility, serenity. All of those sorts of things can come forward with the Star card, especially when you get it combined with something like an Ace of Cups, because that's just a total, like, pure amount of happiness. And I do want to say that some of you are there's something maybe with social media here, with the Six of Wands and the Star card, especially if you've been looking to start, as you get a new beginning with the Ace of Cups, start a social media account, or like just take one further. Something like that could be showing up. So let's go ahead and take a look at what is going on in these 3 oracle cards. So you have Great Fortune, Amazing, Distant Horizons, and Message of Concern. There is something around distance showing up here with Distant Horizons, Knight of Wands, and then also this idea of being in the spotlight, being in the starlight, but from a distance, such as social media. There's maybe something about distance here showing up in your reading with Distant Horizons. This card says good times ahead. And so it's also an extremely positive card. It might be a little bit farther in the distance. It might not happen right away, but the seeds that you plant this month could certainly bring about some happiness for you in the future. I'm not sure what's going on with this Message of Concern card. I'll pull another one to see what that might be. But the Great Fortune card is the best card in the Kipper deck. It's a positive change in luck and in fortune. So you have this Message of Concern and High Honor. It is possible that some of you are communicating with somebody in a workplace context or a career place context, because High Honor says that people really look up to you and people really respect the work that you do. Let's go ahead and take a look at clarifying, but if you're enjoying this video so far, please do hit that like button and subscribe, as it really does help my channel grow in a big way. So you do have the Tower, you have the Eight of Cups, you have the Three of Wands, you have the Seven of Wands, you have the Two of Pentacles, and you have the Knight of Wands coming in once again. Something about travel here certainly coming in, and something about distance being important to you in some ways, with the double Knight of Wands and some of the other just messages that I'm feeling on that. Some of you might be moving in the future. Also, the Three of Wands is a card of travel, but the Tower and the Seven of Wands, the Tower, many people get afraid of that card, but it's really a blessing in disguise. And it can really just be something about surprises that happen in your life, or something that just catches you by surprise. It doesn't need to be negative. And you have it here paired with the Seven of Wands, which some of you may be surprised to find out the way that somebody is acting. Somebody may reveal their true colors to you, so to speak, and it may require you to set a boundary or stand your ground here with the Seven of Wands. I'm just getting that message. That would not be surprising to me. I think some of you may need to really stick up for yourself here. And for some of you, that may be okay, saying what you need to say and then walking away. The Eight of Cups is a card of walking away. It's walking away from disappointing situations. But the Eight of Cups ultimately is an extremely good card for empowerment, because you're deciding to not stay in the disappointing situation, but instead you're moving to a better one. And you're actually moving towards the Nine of Cups, which is about your wishes, dreams, goals, visions. You have the Two of Pentacles here, which is about changes in your material situation potentially, or kind of just keeping all the plates in the air, juggling something, things coming in, things coming out type deal. Navigating the choppy waters, if you will. Yeah, and the Three of Wands and the Knight of Wands, definitely some travel aspected here for you in this month that I feel like could be very exciting. And I think for some of you, it's don't spend the time focusing on the negative, especially if you're traveling. How am I going to get there? When am I going to get there? Will this happen? Will this not happen? Will there be parking? Will there be a place that I like to eat? Try to drop that type of mentality, because that may take away from the experience. However, I will say, give yourself plenty of time if you are traveling, because it is a Mercury retrograde. But otherwise, just enjoy the experience. So thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed this, hit that like button, subscribe. Really appreciate you, and I will see you in the next reading.